is happy for Toke Makinwa, is happy that, you know, she finally got what she wants, which was, you know, wanted to have a child. But he doesn't want her to call God into the story. Like, she shouldn't bring God into her story simply because she had the child out of wedlock. And that got me thinking. First of all, that statement is from a place of hatred, because birthing a child is a miraculous thing. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Rhoda Oluwafemi. If you're new, you're welcome. I'm for you. Please click on the subscribe button to get subscribed to my channel and turn on the notification button to get notified whenever there's a new video up on my channel. Thank you. In today's episode, I'm going to be giving you a story time of how my guest had her bag stolen by an Uber driver on the first day she arrived in Canada, and how that was literally the worst nightmare ever for her, and also why you should actually be cautious when you're patronizing Uber and other related platforms, because that incident made me realize that as these platforms don't have a system that can be trusted, as a lot of things were uncovered or unraveled, and I was very, very surprised. So let's get into it while I also try to do my makeup, because next week I'm going to be attending a colleague's wedding and I plan to wear makeup and would actually like to have a near perfect makeup. So I'm going to be doing like some tutorials today in preparation for next week wedding ceremony, which you guys will also be coming along with me. This year, one of my friends requested that I allowed one of his friends live with me for a period of 1 month. However, she stayed with me for 1 month and some weeks, you know, help her settle in easily and have time to find a suitable accommodation of her choice, which I agreed. So fast forward to the month when my guest was going to arrive, which was in July. She came in an Uber from the airport, and I prepared for her coming, knowing that she was coming all the way from Nigeria, and she actually traveled for more than 24 hours. When she came, I was excited to receive her and happy that, you know, she arrived safely. So we brought her bags in, even though I didn't help much because they were very heavy. And, you know, I was just telling her that I'd made dinner for her and I needed her to take a shower, eat, and go to bed early because I knew she was very tired, and she affirmed to that. She rested for a while, and when she was ready to take a bath, she started looking for her skincare stuff. So she had a small bag inside a very big bag that had skincare items in it. So she came to meet me and told me that she was looking for a bag and it seemed like she forgot it in the Uber. And I was like, oh, that's not a problem. Whether you left it in the Uber or you forgot it at the airport, your bag is still going to be safe. Because I remember when one of my friend's bag was forgotten at the airport, Toronto airport, and he lives outside of Ontario. He called me and I was able to get someone who stays close to the airport to help us find his bag. So we just had to contact the airport authorities, lost and found department, and we were able to get the bag. He had his laptop inside the bag. Actually, it was even his laptop. And he got it in perfect shape. So in my head, I was like, yeah, like there's no problem. Whether you left it in the Uber or at the airport, it's just to call them and describe the item and also what it contains to them. She was not the one that ordered the Uber. Their friend ordered the Uber. I was like, yeah, there's no problem. Your friend just has to call the Uber guy and inform him that, you know, there's a bag in his car and we just need him to bring it back. Even if you'll be charging for the time and like his gas to bring it back, we wouldn't mind paying him whatever amount. But things weren't that simple with the Uber guy. My friend called the Uber guy, and first the Uber guy said he had carried 2 people after her, and then he also didn't see any bag. And that was when we started to panic, because right in the middle of the conversation, asking if she was actually sure it was in the Uber or at the airport, she started to get debit alerts and email notifications from her bank on attempted use of her cards. So right there and there, I knew that I needed to involve the police. Mind you, she had registered her SIM and, you know, did some registrations at the airport just because she watched my video. Airport, she registered and got her SIN, and then she also bought a SIM card. So she had inserted a SIM card into her phone, and a SIM pack was left inside her tote bag. So she had like a very big tote bag that contained her passport, a laptop, a skincare product, and other items like a charger, a driver's license, a purse that had her banking details, her cards, some notes, and other valuable items. So at that moment, I knew I needed to call the police because that was now a case of theft. Also knew that it wasn't a 911 situation because it wasn't a life-threatening situation. So I didn't call 911. I called my region's police station, and I'm not sure the phone rang for up to 1 minute before it was picked up. Picked up the phone, and I explained the situation to them, that someone is attempting to use my card at a grocery store and at a gas station. So this person tried to use the cards at Walmart. Walmart is a grocery store, and at Esso is a gas station. The first thing the police officer said was, block the cards and or contact your bank to block your account, and then you can come to the police station to report the case today or tomorrow. Thanked the police officer, and then we hung up. Uber driver, we couldn't call him directly. It was a friend that was speaking to the guy, and the guy had promised when he initially answered the call that I was going to call back after I tried to reach the other passengers that he said he had picked right after he dropped her off, just to ask them if they saw any bag and maybe just mistakenly took it. I actually thought that was very kind of the guy. Unfortunately, he never called back. But we weren't even waiting for his call back. I had to order an Uber right away to take us to the police station to report the situation, because my guest had just landed into Canada for the very first time, and that's the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody. Landing in a new country and having all your bags stolen was such a nightmare that I would never wish on anyone. This was past it already. He got to the station and we relayed everything to the officer. And when I tell you that this person handles the situation better than I do, I'm not even capping, because I started crying the moment I realized that I forgot my bag either at the airport or in the car. And I think it's a result of coming from a system where things do not work, because in Nigeria it would take the grace of God and a good Samaritan, not exactly the system, right? The system will not help you retrieve your bag. The police officers will not help you retrieve your bag. It would just take the grace of God, because we pray about everything in Nigeria. And I'm not saying prayer is bad, but I'm just saying prayer takes the place of everything, even where common sense and a good structure should come in place. If it were me, I would have started to cry, because then, first of all, I'm in a new country, just coming in after 24 hours of flying, and then my bag is missing. I would have started to cry. And everything will be wrong with me at the same time. I'll be having a headache, I'll be having a fever. But this person was just chilled. Obviously, she was scared and anxious, but she didn't cry. I would have cried, full stop, period. I think this eyebrow is bigger than this one. Let me see if there's something I can do to it. How can I rectify this? Let's move on. And so, as the norm, when we got to the police station, we had to write a statement. We didn't write a statement, actually. They got the information from us, imputed it on their system, and there was a form for her to fill. It had like 6 pages, just detailing everything about the situation, the bag as well, and the items that the bag contained. Police officer asked again if we had blocked the cards, just as he instructed us over the phone, and we affirmed that They've tried to block the cards. So she tried to block those cards as he was speaking to us over the phone. As my friend just fixed my lashes for me. I've not been able to fix these lashes for the longest now. All the makeup that I've been doing has been without lashes, and like, I don't know if I've said this before, but I really love lashes. There's just something that it does to my makeup. It just gives it that beauty, and I really love it. So I've not been exactly loving the makeup that I've been doing for some time now, so I just had to call her because I couldn't now do it, and I don't know why. I was able to do it at the start of my makeup journey, but along the line my ends just started to fail me. I have it now and I'm happy. So I'm going to adjust my brows now just so that I can have an even look. She was filling the form and she was speechless. All the questions that the police officer was asking, I was able to answer because I had the information as much as she also did, and because couldn't even talk as much, and I understood. Recall that I said that she wasn't crying, and that made her like a better person that I am, because in situations like that I would have started to cry and everything would have been wrong with me at the same time. But the moment the police officer said that he could not guarantee that she was going to get her bag back, she burst into tears. And guys, right there, I felt so terrible. Like, that was the worst thing that could happen to anyone coming into a country for the very first time. It wasn't a second, it wasn't a third day, it was a first day landing, and such a thing happened. I felt really terrible. I can't explain it, guys. And I just hugged her and started to console her. Before we left the house, I was already panicking, most especially because renewing our passports would be very stressful. Just like it is back in Nigeria when you want to renew or go register for a new passport. Stress back home is the same stress here. It's even worse here because you would have to travel all the way from your city to Ottawa. Now, when you schedule a date to go to the embassy, they use a different calendar. They use Nigerian calendar. So for example, if it's a public holiday back in Nigeria but it's not a public holiday here, their calendar doesn't show that it's a public holiday for them. It's going to be open, so you're going to book that day. You would fly down and then realize that you cannot even get entrance because they are closed for the day, simply because there's public holiday in Nigeria. So the system is not organized. It's very much stressful here. It's the same queue, it's the same stress, it's the same pain to gain access, pain to get your item out in hours. Like, they literally can give it to you on the same day, but you just have to pay your way. You have to buy your way into getting your passport the same day. The system is the same thing. They just imported that small part of the system here, because I don't see a reason why. Now I understand I'm digressing, but please allow me to digress. But I don't see a reason why, if you're using the same calendar as Nigeria, you should not actually put that on your website. If you're going to be observing a public holiday on Monday in Nigeria and it's going to apply to the embassy here in Canada, that day should be blocked. It shouldn't be open, because people will travel all the way, take time off at work only to get there, and they're not able to do what they went there to do. And so that was the only thing that worried me, because as a newcomer that basically doesn't even have an apartment, trying to find her feet, going to renew her passports in the first week of her arrival is not something that she had planned to do at all. Besides, she had done 10 years just so that she could avoid going to Ottawa to renew her passport in the next 3 years or 2 years of the old one expiring. So that was the problem for me. It wasn't the laptop. I understand that the laptop was equally important, but she didn't even have like documents on the laptop. She didn't have data on the laptop. She had just did some file transfers and gotten a laptop ready, just for a fresh start here in Canada. So the laptop wasn't a big deal because we can buy that, right? And I'm not saying passport renewal is for free, but the stress of getting that passport was what took over my entire thinking process. Also because to register for other things, she needed a passport, so wouldn't have been able to open a bank account. That passport was just tied to a lot of things that she needed to do. Also, I remember stepping out when the Uber that drove us there arrived and just telling God that I don't want anything to be missing. I don't want anything to be broken. I don't know how you're going to do it, but let nothing happen to that bag. The Uber guy is saying he didn't see the bag. He's not calling us back, trying to gain access into our bank account, but I don't know how you're going to do it. Nothing missing, nothing broken. I started to cry, and I got really tense and I was so sad. But anyways, we had to leave after submitting the form.